Seems like he knows it too. So let's talk about Mike Bloomberg. So there's this tape that surfaced today. Of course, he was the mayor of New York City. He says he inherited the policy of stop and frisk, has taken some heat for it. But then there's this audio that surfaced today. Let's look.
95% of your murderers and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male, minorities, 15 to 25. That's true in New York, it's true in virtually every city in America. And that's where the real crime is. You've got to get the guns out of the hands of the people that get killed. So this is one of the unintended consequences is people say, oh my God, you are arresting kids for marijuana, they're all minorities. Yes, that's true. Why? Because we put all the cops in the minority neighborhoods. Yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. And the way you get the guns out of the kids' hands is to throw them against the wall and frisk them. And then they say, oh, I don't want to get caught, so they don't bring the gun.
What did you make of that, Brad?
Well, you know, he's in a difficult spot there. Look, I don't think all the money in the world can undo that. I mean, for 20 years he's supported this policy, but I don't think it's just about the policy. I think it's how he was talking about there. It was very demeaning, the characterization of the youth in the minority neighborhoods. I think he's in a troubled spot, you know.
You talk about the policy, and President Trump had talked about the policy before. Let's take a listen to a speech that he gave at the Chiefs of Police Convention in Orlando in 2018.
Rudy Giuliani, when he was mayor of New York City, had a very strong program of stop and frisk, and it went from an unacceptably dangerous city to one of the safest cities in the country, and I think the safest big city in the country. So it works. It's got to be properly applied, but stop and frisk works.
The president tweeted about Mike Bloomberg today, and I know you don't run the Twitter account, then he deleted it. So what do you think is going on here, the contrast you're trying to draw?
Yeah, I can't talk to you about exactly why he deleted the tweet, but I'll tell you, it's not about just the policy. It's, you listen to that comments, the demeaning, the characterization of youth in the neighborhoods, how we have to send the police into these neighborhoods because that's where criminals are. I mean, the phrase, we could Xerox copy every minority child in these neighborhoods, I think is a very demoralizing thing. It's not about the policy.
Mike Bloomberg says he's apologized for it. He said that it had cut it back by 95% before he left, but that this is an issue that he's talking about his commitment to criminal justice reform and racial equity. So he's kind of owning it. Do you think it'll have an impact? And are you worried about Mike Bloomberg? Like, no one's ever seen this. You're the campaign manager that for the first time in history has to deal with something we've never seen before, like this much money from a candidate that is not even.
Yeah, again, I just don't think everything money can buy. But I mean, for his 12 years, he supported another 7 years afterwards, 19 years. So look, I think he's going to own it. He's going to keep it forever. This isn't something you can do an apology tour over the way his comments have been. But I think that the money is one thing, but he's still a guy that's running for president that has to live on these policies that contrast to the president. I think the president's just going to be successful. I'm not worried about any of these candidates.
I've wondered about you can't buy love.
Yeah, you can't. You know what you can't buy? You can't buy people like you. Watch a Trump rally versus a Bloomberg rally. These people look like they're lethargic in them.
Let's talk about New Hampshire for a second, because this is a state that President Trump lost